Think about this. Suppose you were born into a very poor family in a neighborhood filled with crime. Suppose you grew up without your father, and some of the people closest to you were alcoholics and drug users. Suppose you had to get a job at age 13 so your family could afford to buy food. Suppose you had friends who were in jail, friends who had died, and lots of friends who had dropped out of school. What kind of future would you expect to have? Well, if you were Lateefah Simon, you'd be preparing yourself for medical school. But then, this is Lateefah's story.
There was a dean at my high school, and she was in charge of the black students. And I was going through a lot of stuff. We had got evicted from our house, and we had to move. And it was hard, you know, like all of that stuff when you still want to seem cool, but you're getting evicted and you don't really want to tell anybody. My grades were slipping, and my dean, she said, Miss Scott, I'll never forget, she said, you know, if you don't take this opportunity now, you have a free education. If you don't take the opportunity, if you don't, I didn't want to take my SATs. If you don't take your SATs, if you don't sit down and go through this college application, it'll be over for you. And I started to cry, and I was like, well, no, it's not, and I can do this, and I can do that, and, you know, I want to do radio. And she sort of broke it down to me like, you know what? You have options, and you have to make them happen for yourself.
If I hadn't listened to my counselor and started taking responsibility for my own future, I wouldn't be in college right now. And since I want to be a doctor, this is where I need to be. It's hard, though, because in addition to school, I have to work full-time to support myself. But that's okay. I love my job. I'm the executive director at a very special place called the Center for Young Women's Development. We hire young women right out of the jails and off the streets and train them to go back into their communities to help other young women like themselves.
And they go out and they talk to other young women who are in similar positions that they've been in. Homeless, living on the streets. They give them information. How do I get back in school? The young women who work here, they know that. How do I get medical care? They know that. They provide the young women on the streets with linkages to services that they wouldn't know where to go.
I think the most important thing about the center is what it does for the young women who work here. Some of them are present and former gang members, drug users. Some are homeless. Some have been in jail. They've all been living pretty risky lives. But when they get here, they change.
If you're going to make responsible decisions in your life, you need to be around responsible people. And so at the center, it's our goal to develop those skills within ourselves. Young women who sit around this table learn how to slowly but surely create some really strong behavioral changes in their lives. For the first time, I think in our lives, we think about college, we think about the future, we think about saving money, we think about changing our circle of friends. What we like to say, we invest in each other. And if you invest in each other, if you invest in a community, if you invest in a bank, you're going to get something out of it. If you invest in yourself, you'll get even more out of it. So it's that individual investment. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to sacrifice a lot. I'm going to start thinking before I act. That's our philosophy. Amina's dad. We were together. We were each other's first loves, and we grew up together, I think. You know, we were young teenagers, and we grew up together. We learned a lot of things, but in the midst of it all, throughout high school, we were like best friends, and we were also like, of course, boyfriend and girlfriend. And in that state, I thought, wow, you know, this is like the movies. This is like one of those high school things where we're going to be together forever. I mean, I really thought we were going to get married, but it didn't work out that way. The decision to have a child early, it wasn't well thought out, and I know that now. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I have a child, and I have to worry about daycare, and I have to worry about my daughter's preschool education and my education, and I have to worry about rent. And now that I have this huge responsibility of another life, Wow, it's a lot for someone who's just barely out of high school.
I've made some good decisions and some not so good ones. And my life is not easy right now with all these responsibilities. But I know if I just do what I have to do, I am going to reach my goals.
Responsibility and taking control over your own life is not an easy thing to do. You have to make really hard decisions. But when you make those decisions and you see the fruits of your decisions, you're a really powerful person. I think I'm so powerful. I feel like inside, honestly, that my future is up to me. Do you know how good that feels? That I have the power to decide where life is going to take me? But if you make excuses for yourself, I have a lot of cliches, but you'll have nothing but excuses. You'll be 50 or 60 or 70 talking about how hard it was for you in high school. Who's going to listen to you then? If it's hard for you in school, make it better. You can make it better. We have so much power in us that's like locked up, but like let it out and make positive changes in your own lives. And you'll see the results, and they're really cool. They're really cool.